to another episode of Space Girl Rockets. We're glad you're here.
This week, we're still remote and we're still working through that. So continuing to try to improve the experience. So thank you, everyone, for your patience. Neither one of us are thrilled with this, but we're getting there. So we'll talk through a few
Learning
things.
as we go.
So I'm going to go through a development I had this week, Larry, and then maybe you can talk about the last 24 hours in Patreon or in Instagram. So there's someone here in Chattanooga that is an artist that actually runs a museum here in town, and I actually went through and showed our Space Girl Rockets format where the art is in the center and we're focused on that. And she is thrilled, thought we did a really good job and would love to be interviewed. And so I think we may have our first interview lined up.
Very
and
good.
So that's great news, right? So, kudos to you, Larry. The idea was to keep the art at the center of all this. Mm-hmm. And that was really the thing that stood out was that, we're talking, but we're reviewing art also. So I think that's a good thing. So we got that lined up. What you want to go over the last few days, what you've been up to?
Well, I've been trying to draw as much as possible, whether it be on the computer or in one of the books. I've been trying to post stuff to Instagram, which Instagram is getting a really good response. We're getting a really good response from that community, which I'm very happy about. And I bought some knickknacks to work on, some little skulls. I've been trying to work on banners, logos, just things like that. So it's been keeping me busy.
All right. Well, and one of the things I can say is, as a partnership, it's really cool that Larry's out there posting and keeping things going. Everybody has their ups and downs, and it was really nice this week. Had a really busy week at work, and Larry was able to just jump in there. And the other side of it is a lot of his art got put out there. So kudos to you, Larry, for that. Big response there too, which is great. I hope that's encouraging to you.
Oh yeah, very.
Pretty awesome. Okay, so what? A few things have been going on. The first thing is we are working on issue 2. We've got about a third of it sketched out. We've got the full script and a third of it sketched out, so it's pretty good progress. More to come on that later. Larry's continued to work on scanning his sketchbooks, and so we might work on that later on today. And then the other thing is we started looking at Patreon. We mentioned this a few sessions ago. Our long-term goal is to have a comic art studio. This week I went to Clear Story here in Chattanooga and kind of got an idea of what their floor plan is like, how they make money, how what they charge everyone for rent. And we kind of backtracked from that and said, okay, well, they have this much space and they have this many spots. They're fully booked, so 40 spots are full rental. So that's pretty awesome. It at least gives Larry and I kind of some numbers to look at to figure out what we need to do. In doing that, we also found out that Patreon is really great for this type of effort where you're out there and you're trying to get something off the ground. And so we're working on the Patreon page. So I'm going to jump to that and see if we can show something cool there.
This will be once again a learning event for me because this is all brand new.
Yeah. So let me start with, for Patreon, we have to set the cover here, and so I should go ahead and move on because I don't want to give away too much. But
right.
Right here, this is what we started with, right? So we had this big block we had to fill, and we kind of played around with some ideas. And so one of the things was the Space Girl rockets that you see over here on the side. Larry drew that a long time ago. He also drew Mr. Whisper, and then I was wanting to show off some of his artwork, and then The characters on the screen are really just some characters we both had developed together that are just out there in our online folders we share. And so I just grabbed some of those, and as you can see, the ones in the middle are from the original comic. They're at least defined. The ones that are on the right hand side, the duck and the mermaid in the bathtub, those are from the Catalina Lunch comic that we've only started on. And then on the far left is the tall grass story. And so, as you can see, some of these characters are defined and they're not defined. And so we had to, start cracking after it and, figure out what we want to do. So let me kind of go. The next stage was like, these are scans of, or really they're photographs off our phone, but they're a bunch of Larry's notebooks and some of my notebooks. And so it's just trying to show like, hey, this is what it's about. It's the art and these fun characters. And so let me go backwards because it kind of walks through. Yeah, this makes sense. So this is where I actually went through and sketched everything and turned it into a vector image. And so you can see that all of these characters that were originally, half of them was not even defined. Larry and I texted back and forth and said, hey, what about this? What about this? And we also figured out that, like, as we move them around, they give it a sense of, it fills the screen. So I sent this to Larry. He was super encouraging and happy about that. So that's always great.
Yeah, I think it looks excellent. I love the whole progress. So,
well,
since I've only seen the final version, I know where this is going.
Well, so that's the thing, right? So let me go I guess I have to zoom out enough. Okay, so there it is, where it's sketched out in detail, and this is where everyone has been colored. Now, this looks good. So I would say, hey, this looks amazing. Well, let's just put that out there, right? Like, let's put the sketchbooks back out there. But started just going, not giving up kind of thing, right? And so you see if we go to the next one. Yeah, here we go. So this one is where I had put a background in and I had added shadows. And so let me go through what shadows I did add. As you can see, there's just a shadow of all the characters from themselves, right? So just like here, the guy in the workout outfit, he has a shadow that literally is where I copied his shape, turned it all black, made it transparent, and distorted it. That's it. I didn't draw that. I drew him. Same thing for the next person, right? And it looks good. But as you can see let me go back over here. As you can, well, I'm not going to be able to do it, Larry. There you go. As you can see, the first character here, I had started to do more shadowing. And so you see the ladder has a shadow and the person climbing the ladder has a shadow. And so now we go to the final one. And so we'll go back to what we looked at before. The shadow thing here is a ridiculous trick. We went over this last time. It literally is you paint black where you want a shadow to be and then make it transparent, and it gives you this effect. And what's really cool is it gives everybody here so much more shape. Like even this person here, you can see so much more shape, and it makes the shadows make sense, all of that stuff. And so let me pull back. The other thing we had to work on, and this Carla had some input here, is the Space Girl rockets was not popping off the page. And so if I go back over to here, it looks okay. It doesn't look bad, but maybe it doesn't pop off the page. So we went back, and that was really an attempt to make it sort of an iridescent. I wouldn't say it's an A+, but I'm pretty happy with it. What about you, Larry?
Oh, yeah. Two thumbs way up.
So, a few things.
Kudos to the idea of having them all proceeding towards the rocket ship too, taking some art with them. I like that whole idea.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea with the through here, and then she has a notebook also, is this whole idea of like pick up some art, launch your art, right? And the other detail, or this thing is very, is I put some books on the inside of the spaceship. So nothing mind-boggling, but
Well, not only that, but you can also see part of our, I guess, the heart, some of the heart of this project is you can see that all are welcome to bring their art.
yeah, well, yes,
All
most
kinds
definitely.
of walks of life are welcome.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's funny too because you have the middle set of people that we came up with a long time ago.
Right.
The Catalina lunch group is no one in that group is a hero. They're just people. They go to lunch. Like that's the whole premise of it. And then the first set of people, there are all these people that live in a, I don't want to say too much, but they live in a reality where you can live however you want to. And so that's the first piece. So let's go on. So back to the Patreon. We have to create tiers, right? So classically in Patreon, you have like a $5 tier that lets you pay for, give somebody $5 once a month, and it's kind of called Buy Me a Cup of Coffee, is an actual website. I've done a lot of really trying to educate myself on Patreon, and so with Larry and I having a long-term goal of the studio, and with we want to attract other people to this effort, and so we're not going to do Patreon as a way to fund the comics. We're going to do Patreon as a way to fund us continuing to draw and to fund setting up the studio. When we want to publish a comic, what we will do is we will work with the Kickstarter platform and publish a specific comic. And the reason I say it that way, or have set it up this way with Larry, is if some other person comes in and they want to publish a book, we want to help them. We want to support them. So one of the things we discussed before is we don't want to take a bunch of rights away from artists. So we really want to focus on, we'll help you publish it. We will get a cut of it if you publish with us, but we'll also give you the files so you can publish it yourself. And so, we haven't worked out the specifics on that as far as like we would need to either have a cut of the first run or, a certain amount of money up front so it makes sense. But, imagine if we had 20 people, I don't want to, somehow be exerting control over what they publish or don't publish. I really want to, and Larry's expressed this too, of like, we just want it to be a place where people can come and learn and feel accepted.
And build a community too of like-minded individuals who are there for the art and not the hate.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell you that personally, long term, I don't want to speak for you, Larry, but I'm going to find that incredibly rewarding, where all these people that wouldn't normally be showing their art off and definitely would not be publishing their art are a part of a community where they feel accepted and they can do what they want to do and tell their stories. So
Right, absolutely. And another thing we kind of we discussed this too in depth. We're more advocates for the victims. No predators allowed. If you're a predator and you're seeking victims, you've come to the wrong place.
Yeah.
There will be no tolerance of that kind of not well. Space Girl Rockets is not about that. We won't accept it. So
agreed. So all right. So let me go through what we have done. If I can switch to it, maybe I can't switch to it. There we go. I want to show real quick. Yeah, there we go. Let me zoom in on somebody. I'm going to go back to this set of people over here if I can. And so the shadow is just a layer, right? So I can just turn that on and off. And what's really cool is these shadows are also just a layer. So I can turn on the people, turn off the people. And like I said, all I was doing was selecting a person. And so I can do that again. So watch this. This is just the craziest cool technology. I'm going to turn off. Where was that? So okay, I'm going to turn off. Where is the background shadows? Here. Oh. There we go. Turn off the background shadows. Okay. So check this out. It is so silly, easy. So I'm in this layer, right? So you can see I'm in the layer with people. So I'm just going to select Eleanor here. Okay. Now, pretty simple. So I'm just going to hit edit, copy, edit, paste. Now, let me now turn off the original copy. So turn off this layer, you can see that I have the original layer here. And then I have another layer that has just this. And so when you are using Clip Studio and you copy and paste, it makes a whole new layer for you. Now, check out how simple this is. This is almost, to say it nicely, stupidly simple. It really is. So because she is the only actual object in the layer, look at this. I just selected her. Now I can do, let me see. Is it going to let me? Oh, here it is. Sorry. Okay. So I'm going to turn her. I got to pick the color that I'm going to fill with. Okay. So there's this icon down here that says fill. Okay. So you see how it selected everything but her? So I'm going to undo, go back, and then invert selected area. Now watch this. Okay. So all I've done, select her, copy and paste. I get a new layer. I select her again. It's really easy to do the selection. I don't have to do anything fancy. I invert the selection and I filled. Now watch this. This is just the craziest thing. I'm going to back it down. I think 43 is what I know. It looks like, hold on, I can actually tell you. Yeah, it's 43%. So there you go. That is the level I used. Now, watch this. You're going to love this. We're going to go to transform right here under the edit menu. And I'm going to go free transformation. Now watch. Are you still watching, Larry?
I am.
Okay, I'm going to take it down to whatever level, right? So her shadow is not going to project all the way to the horizon. So try to drop below the horizon. Now check this out. I'm going to turn the shadows. Oh, hold on. Let's go with this angle. Okay. Now watch what happens when I turn the layers back on. See how the shadow is there, but it's in front of everyone? Just going to grab that layer and take it behind. And suddenly we have an amazing shadow for that one character.
I was going to say, it reminds me of another program I've used recently to do other things with, but just the way you can drop shadows.
Yeah. And so that's all I did to make all those cool shadows. So really happy about that. So I'm going to close this. I'm not going to save. And then, so now we'll talk a little bit about what we came up with for the actual. So when you contribute to Patreon, they let you put a little icon. And so we came up with 2 icons right now. So the first one is the notebook and pen keep drawing. So this is going to be like our $5. I don't know if we'll do $5, but you get the idea. This is the range we're going to use. And this is basically like you're contributing to our effort. It lets us keep drawing. It lets us keep doing what we're doing. And that's really huge. We tried to add some characters in here because, again, we don't want this to feel like it's only for Larry and I. We really want to set a studio up. We want everyone coming there and feeling welcomed. And so that's why we have all our characters on the screen, staring at the pen, staring at the notebook, going. So, any comments, Larry?
Once again, I'm just very excited to be on this journey and to see how it's unfolding. And if you don't mind, I'm going to show one of the logos I came up with, if it'll show up.
Yeah, let me stop sharing, and then you can do that.
Let's see if it will actually work. Oh, it's backwards, isn't it?
No, it's not backwards on my camera, but it's trying to compensate for it. So
right. Hold on. Let me do this. Maybe this will work. There we go. Look.
There it is.
Backwards, but
so pull back just a bit because it's not catching the edges. It looks really good on the phone, and he's I don't know.
anyway.
That's super nice. You want to tell him how you came up with that, Larry?
I don't know if I want to talk about actually where I did it at, but I know, and this is going to sound, some people may know this, may recognize some of the fonts or this, that, or another, but there's a program out there that's fun to use, and it's a driving program, and it's got a really good paint section that's really easy to use, and it's very intuitive. And I just decided that would be a great place to come up with some sticker type logos. Something that, is quick and easy and fun and very recognizable, uh, you know, from a decent way away. When somebody sees it somewhere, they'll be like, oh, yeah, Space Girl Rockets.
Well, I think, ideally, right, we have when we get the studio stood up, right, we have a really clean little sign outside, right? And so that I'm in love with all these logos Larry comes up with, because it makes it a little more real. We're going to get there for sure.
Okay, let's see if I can get this one up there. Hold on. Once again, hold on. Let me see if I can get this one. Just like that. Nice, clean, with a little bit of drop shadow. Anyway.
Looks awesome.
Thanks, sir. Anyway, it's been keeping me busy. I'll continue to work.
Well, and so I wanted to keep going on the other thing, Larry, because I wanted to show like how you and I work through problems. Because I feel like of all our things that we have going for us, Larry's a very talented artist. I think I'm a somewhat determined artist, maybe not as talented.
Whatever. You are very talented as well.
It's things grow when we talk about them. So I'm gonna pull up the logo for the mid-range. So again, we discussed the logo for the
absolutely
the Keep Going Fund. And so the next logo is where basically we were thinking about, like, it's like the $30 to $50 range, and what we would do is just kind of automatically send people a free signed copy of anything we publish. It would have to be capped at like what Larry and I do, because I can't foresee us, producing more than one a month. And I think it would be very fair to, long term, someone's with us from the beginning, they're paying that much a month. It would definitely be, they're making an investment. And so long term, if we're successful, we're going to have a lot more comics that we're producing. And so those people would be part of that group, and they might get several published items a month, but they would have been with us since the beginning. So
right.
So the next one, so this is the, hey, we can buy a notebook and pen. We're just going to keep drawing. The next one is gas for the journey, keep it going. And so, this one, kind of making a joke, right? Rockets definitely do not run on gasoline, but just this kind of running joke of, hey, kind of hitchhiking, I need help with gas.
They run on dreams, Robert. Run on dreams.
They do run on dreams. Well, that's an interesting comment, right? You could say something slick in the other way, right? You could say like, "Hey, rockets don't run on dreams," right? But do you think the character here needs to turn and face this and like have a smirk of like, "Hey, what do you think? What are you feeling?"
No, I think it's lovely. I mean, as he's pointing to the rocket and like, "Hey, fill her up. We got places to go."
Yeah.
People to see.
So if you look at the two of them, I was kind of trying to keep like maybe the same position, right? The same character in both. What do you think about for that founders level where someone might be giving us, $100 a month or more, and it really is people trying to help us build the studio, right? Like that founders level would be, genuinely help us build the studio.
No doubt. That would be, woo, yeah, good stuff.
Most definitely would be.
I mean,
so what are your thoughts there, Larry? What would we want to show people?
I don't know. Give them a room from a month.
Well, my thought was we could put plaques for the founders on a desk, right? So we're going to be having to put desks in there.
Or we can have a brick. We can put their names on a brick and add the brick to a wall. Any of that would be good stuff.
Yeah, it's maybe not a bad idea at all, right? Maybe see if we could, send money back, or not send money back, but send like an engraved rocket back or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be pretty awesome.
Or even we could have Space Girl Rocket Challenge coins made. I mean,
So talk to me about that. What's that mean to you? I don't know as much about some of these reward systems as you may know.
Well, some of there are certain institutions around the world that for different organizations, they'll make what's called a challenge coin for that year. And each challenge coin is a certain weight, and you can order them. And we could get one, that's gold and got our logo on it, and maybe the date of when this person joined the Patreon, with their name and date, and it'd be like something that they could keep, and actually show or bring to if we ever start having bring it to a Comic-Con, or you know what I mean.
Yep.
They maybe even have pictures with us and sign autographs and all kinds of good stuff. I mean, it's something we could do, and they're relatively cheap. You have to order them more in a certain amount, but we could always have them engraved later and make them specific to specific people.
Well, I think that would be really cool, right? Somebody helps us with this journey. Again, we are not trying to open up a organization that needs help once it gets going. We're really just trying to get the first few months of rent together and figure out a space, get some desks out there, and allow us to make personal changes. So once that and it goes back to the studio I visited. Once we get it set up, we certainly believe we will be making money, and we'll be putting that money back into the business. Ideally, long term.
Sound equipment.
Yeah, the first goal will be that Larry can start working there full time, and then maybe myself would be the secondary goal. We really want to get there. I personally would like to retire and be working there, right? Like retire from my corporate life and be working there after I retire. So to be clear, I do not mean that like, oh, we made a bunch of money and we get to just retire. I mean, when I can retire, this is what I want to do. And so,
Absolutely.
so anyway, so that was our progress for this week. Larry, anything else you've been working on you want to speak to?
No, not really. I just want to further along the sentiment about, it's not just about it's all about art, but it's also about building an art community that's safe for people from all walks of life to communicate and share ideas and share art and discuss it and just I don't know, have some peace. A peaceful place to feel safe and work on your art.
Oh yeah, well, and yeah, I think personally, so I've been in 2 comic creator groups. So there's 3 sets of people in those groups. There's actual professionals that are being wonderful, nice people they're there showing their artwork, they're showing how to write, how to draw, how to publish. And so I would say they're less than 10% of that population, and bless them for being a part of it, because it makes a world of difference to a lot of people. The next set is people that I would say are like Larry and I, that are scrapping and fighting to find 5 minutes here and there to draw. And then the third set, which is by far the largest set, is really young people that they want to belong to a community. They want to do their artwork. They want to grow in that community. And exactly what you said there, Larry, like if we could create something that was very safe, accepting, the group in Portland we've been looking at, it's an open floor concept. I would love for, at least a section of it to be very kid safe. Anything you're drawing is kid appropriate 24 hours a day.
Mhm.
And, it'd be a place where people could come when they're in college or they're in high school and they're just wanting to come be a part of something, and then, foster their creative, talent, but also like teach them to get it done, right? Like teach them to, do another pass at finishing that, do another pass on your colors, do another, do this when you publish, add this when you publish. One of the things I'm really wanting to push Larry to go do is there are sketchbook conventions now where you're going somewhere and you're buying a copy of someone's sketchbook, and it's amazing, right? It's extremely similar to Larry's production style of like people just have books filled with their beautiful artwork. That all of that stuff is goodness, and it encourages everyone to be a part of it. So anyway, so excited about the Patreon.
I'm excited about all of it. I'm very excited. It's wonderful.
Are we good for this week as far as recording? What do you want to do?
Yeah. No, I'm fine. Peace, love, and light.
Thanks, everybody. Hey, thanks for watching.